first of all, I saw the first 3 episodes, and if I had had more last night, I would have just continued watching. And so that's my best compliment to you on the show. Is I would have kept going.
Great to hear.
So I am curious, is there any chance of Savage Dragon or any Image comic characters cameoing in Invincible, or is there any chance?
I mean, right now there's not. I think that is kind of the magic of comics. In comics, I can call up Eric Larson and be like, "Are you cool? Savage Dragon shows up," and he's like, "Yeah, great." When you start involving massive corporations like Amazon, things get to be a little bit tedious and difficult, and it's not, the same kind of easy process. And so it makes it a little bit harder for us to do something like that, unfortunately.
The comic ran for, I believe, 144 issues, and it covered a lot of ground. I'm curious, when you were talking to Amazon about the series, did you say to them, "Hey, I want to do this, like I have a 5-year plan, or I have a certain amount of plan"? How much are they saying to you? What's your plan for multiple seasons?
I mean, the plan is definitely for multiple seasons. And, I've worked closely with Simon Rasiopa, the head writer, to kind of map out the first season would cover this chunk, the second season would cover this chunk, the third season would cover this chunk. And we have kind of a roadmap for, how we'll adapt certain chunks of issues, and, how we'll, take the big swaths of Invincible and craft them into, a season that makes sense. But as far as any discussions of oh yeah, it's going to be a 7-season show or a 5-season show or whatever, we haven't had those discussions yet. So all I can say is, open up Amazon Prime on your laptop and run this show on a loop, please.
The first season is 8 episodes. How did you guys come up with that number? Was it ever going to be 10? Was it ever going to be more?
I think 8 is, the preferred streaming model, season length at this point. It's something that Amazon was pushing for, and it was something that, we were on board for. And, I think The Boys are 8 seasons, or eight episodes a season. So I think that's just their format.
The episodes I saw were 45 minutes each, give or take. Was there ever discussion about doing it for 30 minutes? How did you guys come up with the length of each episode?
I wanted it to feel like an hour-long cable drama, which, they roughly end up being about 45 to 47 or whatever minutes. And so that was important to us because, we wanted this just to feel different. This is an animated series, and most animated series are, 22 minutes. And we wanted it to stand apart, because of its length. And it also gives us a different kind of format for storytelling. If our episodes were shorter, we wouldn't be able to, spend a lot of time on the character development and the drama the way that we wanted to. It would have been more plot driven. And to have the cast that we have, we really want to be able to take the time to have them, live in their performances and do different things. So I think it gives us much more room for drama to be injected into the story.
You have a ridiculous cast for this series. And I'm just curious if the way you got them to do the show was, hey, do Invincible. And I'm also just going to throw out there, you can also be a really great zombie in Walking Dead. We'll give you a close up on that.
I promise you, I've made that offer to no one. I don't think Walton Goggins or Gillian Jacobs or, no, I don't want to be a zombie. What are you talking about? But no, I think that we didn't have a casting process, which, might be more common in animation, but we were just calling people up and saying, this role is yours. If you would like it, here's what it entails. And we absolutely love you. And, we were able to bring people on board in that way. Linda Lemontaine, our casting director, would just bring us list after list of this is who we can get for this role. And this is who we can get for this role. And I didn't believe any of it. And I'd be like, yeah, sure. Okay, let's see if J.K. Simmons is interested. And then they'd be like, yeah, he's on board. And we'd be like, okay, go for Sandra Oh. Let's see what happens. She's on board. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, actually. It's crazy. Are there any Easter eggs that people should be looking out for in the first 8 episodes?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of callbacks to little moments that happened in the comics. There's a lot of Easter eggs from the comics that get adapted into the show. There's a lot of different, little things that you might not be expecting that'll crop up here and there. So yeah, we've had a lot of fun with, different little Easter eggs that we've peppered in.
The show is what I would call violent. And I'm just curious if Amazon gave you any feedback or any notes, or after The Boys, are they sort of whatever?
I think that's an accurate assessment. They're very much like, look, have your fun, whatever. But no, I thought for sure that I was waiting at any moment to get tapped on the shoulder and be like, yeah, you're going a little too far. You can't do this. And it never came. If anything, we got nothing but encouragement from them, which is really reassuring. I think that they recognize that, especially, with the boys, it's a good example. The violence serves a purpose. It's an absolutely essential element to the storytelling that we're doing. Invincible wouldn't be Invincible if we weren't dealing with those like gut wrenching ramifications of what happens from the violence in the show. And if we weren't showing it, it wouldn't have the right kind of impact. And so I think to do it without it, you'd be doing a disservice to the story. And so, yeah, we really went for it, and Amazon was supporting us every step of the way.
I guess what I'm curious about is, say this is a hit. Hopefully it's going to be a huge hit. But say Amazon says, we want to greenlight season 2 and season 3 like right now. What is the production timeline like behind the scenes in terms of, getting a second season made?
Yeah, I think the production timeline is, it's somewhat daunting. I think that we spent a number of years developing and working on this season. As we, hopefully move into season 2 and beyond, things will tighten. There's definitely a lot less designing and different things that have to happen to move into our second season. And it's entirely possible that there's already a little bit of work that's already been done on the second season. So I think we're in a good place, to be moving forward, were this show to end up being successful.
I have no doubt that you are working on season 2 right now, even if you have not been able to talk about it. 100% you're getting more than the first season. Talk a little bit about how you guys designed or came up with the look of the show and how you decided on the way the animation company you wanted to work with.
Yeah, I think Maven, our overseas studio, has done a lot of the DC animated films. They're just an absolutely great studio to work with. As far as the look and feel of the show, we knew we were working with Maven, and so we wanted to try and make sure that that the show didn't look just like another, DC animated movie. Corey Walker, the co-creator of the comic, was brought in to be lead character designer. And not only is he someone that's intimately familiar with Invincible and all the characters, but he is also new to animation. And so there's kind of a new feeling to his work that hasn't really existed in any other cartoons. And so I think it helps our show stand apart. I think the most important thing for me visually was that I wanted the bright, colorful world of the Invincible comic book to be represented in animated form, just because when you start with something that looks very much like a traditional superhero show, when it starts going in directions that are very much not traditionally, seen in superhero shows, it's more jarring and more affecting. When you're seeing heads exploding and it looks kind of like, Batman the Animated Series or whatever, you're like, whoa, this doesn't fit. I don't understand what's happening. This is crazy. And that's the kind of like feeling we were going for, where when things happen in Invincible, you want to feel like they shouldn't be happening and you're seeing something that you shouldn't be seeing. And I think that's, that comes from the way that we, portray the color and the brightness of the world.
Let's talk about the next most important thing of today. I see the Transformers poster behind you, and I just realized that it's there. Do you have a Optimus Prime in your house, and what Optimus Prime version do you have?
I can't count the number of Optimus Primes I have in this house. If this were a game show where you were like, you have 2 minutes, show me how, I would have a pile filling this screen. I have a boxed original Optimus Prime from back in the day. I've got multiple Masterpiece Optimus Primes. I have a couple of Optimus Prime statues. There's a wealth of Optimus Primes here.
I understand.
Great question.
Right, because I have one, but every time I see a new one, I'm sort of like, oh, I could get that one too. It also means a lot to me. Getting back into Invincible, you guys were developing, or you're developing, a feature film of the property with Seth and Evan. How has the animated show possibly impacted the feature being made?
When we entered into the development of the live action show, we knew that the animated form was in production, so it hasn't affected anything. We know, like, the animated series is covering this, so the movie should kind of cover this. And that's not necessarily story function, but possibly like tone and feel that should be a little bit different. But yeah, I mean they're being developed in tandem, and they're very aware of both versions at the same time. And so it's something that the differences are being baked in, and we're all aware of each other as we're in the processes.
Do you have a script that everyone is happy with, or do you think it's going to be filming soon? Like, where are you in that development process?
I mean, we're still working on the script, I think, I guess is the most clear way to say it. I mean, we're all very happy with the script, but I think everybody, wants everything to be as great as possible. So, it's a longer development process, but I think that, Seth and Evan are very busy guys, and we're willing to take our time on this to get it right.
Who actually came up with the Reginald VelJohnson for the high school?
I would probably say that was Corey. Corey Walker.
Sure.
We were both huge Family Matters fans growing up. And so, I think or he suggested Reginald VelJohnson as the principal looking like Reginald VelJohnson. And I was like, let's name the high school that. I can't remember. It's been a long time, but it might've been Corey.
It is now time where I switch into what we call the Walking Dead stuff.
Okay.
I have a few quick questions. What's the status of Tales of the Walking Dead? And do you think 8 episodes a season or 16 episodes?
I can say it's definitely not going to be 16 episodes. It'll probably be a tighter. I mean, I know, I just don't know. I don't know what I'm allowed to say. But it'll be a smaller season. It's very much underway. We're I don't know what I can say. It's being developed.
I don't want to get you in trouble, but I want information.
I don't care. Look, writers' rooms being built. We're working on it. Who cares? What are they going to do? Fire me?
Yeah, I wasn't really worried about you losing your gig. Is that one of those things though that you guys envision because the recent spinoff is two seasons, and yeah. Right from the beginning it's 2 seasons. For Tales, do you guys envision something like that, or is it something that could continue for a long time?
We're not really talking about it. I don't know. I mean, we're hopeful that it'll last past the first season. There's not any kind of cap on what we're doing. We're just trying to make the best season possible to begin with and see how things go from there. I think it's a tremendous opportunity to explore, many different aspects of the Walking Dead universe, to be able to jump forward and backward in time and also do things that are, much different than what we've done in The Walking Dead thus far. So I think it'll be a really cool show, but we're going to see how things go.
The Daryl and Carol spinoff series, does it finally have a name?
I think the rhyming Daryl and Carol is great. Daryl and Carol and Carol and Daryl and Daryl and Carol. It's great. Look, there's a theme song right there. Does it need another title? Maybe not.
Right. So you don't have a title yet.
Very astute.
Right. Where is that in the production process? Do you and another one of those? Do you envision that as the Walking Dead type season where it's 8 and 8? Have you guys had those conversations?
I mean, those conversations have been had. Again, I don't know what I'm allowed to say. All I'll say is that Carol and Daryl are very much a huge part of the 11th season of the show. And the 11th season of the show is an expanded season that is, much longer than past seasons of the show have been. And so Angela and everybody is hard at work on that right now. And the Carol and Daryl spinoff is something that I think will, ramp up in production closer to the end of the 11th season of the show, which we are very much knee deep in right now.
Something that I've wondered about is, have you guys ever talked about doing like a Walking Dead series in another language in another part of the globe? I know Fear the Walking Dead did a little bit of Mexico and stuff, but I'm talking about like the Walking Dead Spain or the Walking Dead Paris, something along those lines where it's a completely different country and different language.
I will answer that question by looking silently over my coffee cup. It's entirely possible.
Right. So this could be something coming?
Could be.
Right.
Could be.
I don't know. I think that could be actually really cool.
I think it will be. Possibly. Maybe. We'll see.